Good evening, Cretans. Good evening, creeps. My name is Christopher. I am the only person discussing horror cinema on the internet. In the year 2023, I watched and I ranked 211 new horror films. And after 10 days of countdowns, it is my esteemed privilege to present to you the top 13 horror films of 2023. Cheers. 13. Good Boy. The higher-ranking Norwegian film of the two that I would recommend from last year, Good Boy tells the story of Sigrid, a woman who meets a man named Christian on a dating app. As he's everything that's perceived as perfect in a partner, one has to wonder why Christian is still single. Things prove too perfect when Christian reveals that he lives with his dog, Frank, a full-grown man who dresses up as a dog and has adopted dog mannerisms. So everybody's aware that this is a man. This isn't like Wilfred, if you're familiar. This is a mindfuck of a movie that roped me in, or rather, leashed me up, and wouldn't let go until the end. Kindred Spirits, because we're going to do that for the top 13. Fresh, Speak No Evil, American Psycho. Number 12, Cobweb. This Lizzie Kaplan Halloween flick follows 8-year-old Peter, a kid with a less than functional family who's hearing things in his walls in the middle of the night. Are they natural? Are they supernatural? Are these all the musings of a troubled young mind? All of those questions will be answered. Unanswered questions, however, include why you would release a film that feels so the week before Halloween, not only in the middle of fucking July, but against Barbenheimer? People weren't gonna do Barbenheimweb. Cobbenharby? It deserved better. Kindred Spirits, Trick or Treat, The People Under the Stairs, The Gate. Number 11, Malum. Rookie cop Jessica is on the last shift of a closing down police station when all hell breaks loose in Anthony de Blasi's remake of his own 2014 film, The Last Shift. While I had written off this movie as bargain bin fodder about a decade ago, this was a tout thrill ride that made me go back and finally visit the original. And while this had its charms, this is a well-refined experience that I am glad that he had the humility to go back and say that he could have done it better and didn't. Kindred Spirits, Southbound, House of the Devil, The Last Shift. Is that a cop-out? Fine. Baskin. You think I didn't know you'd give me shit about it? Number 10. The Elderly. Spain's The Elderly is a dark yarn wherein a heat wave seemingly sets off a chain of events that start off bleak and only become harsher. This was a more than capably made film that I don't want to give up too much on. I could tell you that in the wrong hands, this would have easily become a parody of itself. Instead, we got a morose story that deals with questions of life, of sickness, of grief. Kindred Spirits, The Signal, The Taking of Deborah Logan, The Crazies. Number 9, The Wrath of Becky. 2020's Becky was a bright point during the darkest point of the pandemic. Lulu Wilson's portrayal of the title 13-year-old ass-kicker was spot on. Kevin James as the leader of a neo-Nazi group was a darker, more brooding, and harsher performance than I'd ever expect out of Paul Blart Mall Cop. Successfully pulling off that concept once is miracle enough, and I would have been fine with leaving it there, but Becky, she sure as shit wasn't. Everything about this movie ups the ante. It looks better, it feels harder. Sean William Scott is completely unplugged, downplaying himself as the big bad. You can watch this as a simple cracking skulls flick, or you can watch this as an exploration of the after effects of trauma. Either way, watch it. Kindred Spirits, The Raid, Boy Kills World, and Revenge, but without the essay. Number 8, Birth, Rebirth. Birth Rebirth intersects Rose, a fairly sociopathic doctor disgusted with the idea of natural reproduction, with Celie, a maternity nurse. This is the second and higher ranking of the two Frankenstein-inspired films that I would recommend from 2023. Baron Ireland is a revelation in her cold and calculated portrayal of Rose. Half the shocks are in her unfazed reactions to frankly unfathomable situations. This challenges the viewer with a lot of questions that you just can't answer. It also spoke to a lot of issues of autonomy that we're seeing in more and more films nowadays, like Immaculate and First Omen. Kindred Spirits, Grace, Pet Sematary, Frankenstein. Any of them. Number 7, She Came from the Woods. The highest ranking to be original from last year is one that I was actually privileged enough to see in theaters. On the surface, this fairly simple summer camp slasher is imbued with solid writing, great characters, and enough lore that this could be fleshed out into an entire series. This is something that you can turn on for laughs, it's something that you can turn on for scares. Whatever your mood, I think you'll be good with it. It's one that both pays homage to and sits alongside the better entries in the subgenre. This is one that 2 years from now, you're going to see a whole slew of videos where it's like, why didn't anybody tell me about She Came from the Woods? I just did. I am still holding out hope for a physical release of it. Please. Kindred Spirits, The Final Girls, Night of the Demons, the Sleepaway Camp sequels. Number 6, Godzilla -1. Do I really need to tell you what this is? Godzilla fucks shit up and people fight back. Seriously though, I get the argument that this is not horror, but please indulge me, hear my argument that when this series started, it was Atomic Age, and Atomic Age was the horror of that time. And to be quite frank with you, this is the most vicious and brutal Godzilla that I have ever seen. This, for me, is the character treatment that I have waited probably over 35 years for at this point, and it's better than I could have ever expected it to be. Kindred Spirits, Cloverfield, Pacific Rim, Gojira when it came out in 1954 and the initial reaction that people had to it. Number 5, Talk to Me. A24's horror knockout of 2023 delivers on all fronts. A group of friends fuck around with the most recognizable piece of new horror iconography of the year, and they find out when they summon the dead. Everything in this movie looks incredible, especially the spirits and their character designs. This was way too good for a first feature film, and I am honestly not going to go and argue with anybody who has this seated at the top of their list for last year. For me, personally, just because I feel like I have to justify this, I don't think that the beats to the story line up when we only first talk to the spirits without letting in 2/3 of the way through the movie. I think that that holds true to kids at a party, but I don't think that that's true to your audience. Further, I personally know that I have issues with filmmakers who mistake pity for empathy. This was pity. Again, I'm only bringing these points up because I feel like I have to justify why a masterpiece like this is not sitting at the top of my list. Kindred Spirits, I'll go Smile for mood, I'll go 13 Ghosts for character design, and I'll go Ouija, but not a total piece of shit. Well, it's a Witchboard. There you go. Number 4, Infinity Pool. Infinity Pool is a new, fresh, original body horror wherein two vacationing couples immerse themselves a little bit too deeply into the local culture. Is that a surfacey synopsis? Absolutely. Brendan Cronenberg's latest offers solid proof that he is more than ready and able to assume the throne that his father built. Further, I could not love Mia Goth anymore after this movie. I was walking around for like the remainder of the year, you know, yeah, Jamesy! Every fucking day. Kindred Spirits, Black Swan, Clockwork Orange, Hostel. Number 3, the film that everybody attached the phrase, the cruelest movie ever made to, When Evil Lurks. Is it the cruelest movie ever made? No, it's far from it. Have you seen Human Centipede 2? A Serbian film? I Spit on Your Grave? Cannibal Holocaust? Martyrs? It's not even getting into things like August Underground or Guinea Pig. How about this? We drop the superlatives and we just call this what it is. A very dark, bleak, disturbing film that is as dark, bleak, and disturbing as it is intelligent and artful. I loved this movie, and I have nothing but praise for it. Kindred Spirits, I don't know, I've not seen a whole lot like it. The Exorcist, the Evil Dead remake, Hereditary. Number 2, Megan. Megan was a very early favorite for me, and having seen it on opening day, January 5th, this movie was the bar to which all other films were measured in 2023. It nearly made it the entire year, sitting at the top of that list, holding dominion overall. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain to you, this is a killer doll movie. What I may have to throw to you, if you've somehow not seen this yet, is the very human side of things. The statements of grief that sit in this film, which is found in a genre where the worth of a film is judged by some based upon the kills that happen in the film, was a paradox that I very much appreciated. And hey, I get if this isn't for you. If you're about kills, if you're about gore, and this PG-13 flick didn't do it for you, that's fine. I personally would seat it alongside Orphan, Westworld, and no surprise here, Child's Play. And all three of those movies had their moments of dividing audiences. For me, this was deep, it was funny, it had enough scares, it had a great storyline. And possibly most importantly, it had the introduction of a new horror icon. And we don't get a new horror icon every year. And in the years that we do get new horror icons, we don't always get them right. But in 2023, we not only got it right, we got it right twice. If you haven't pieced it together, overcoming 210 other films is the long-awaited, heavily anticipated Thanksgiving. After seeing Grindhouse in theaters in 2007, I spent the next 16 Thanksgivings wishing, hoping, praying that one day I would get to see Thanksgiving. And Eli Roth not only finally delivered, he delivered in the way that it needed to be delivered. You can feel the love that he has, not only for this movie, but for slashers in general, as this essentially serves as a love letter to the subgenre. And with this being his first, you can see the care that was taken with every choice that he made, from the almost entirely practical effect, to the outlandish kills, to the well-defined, albeit stereotypical characters, to the soundtrack. All choices were meticulous and deliberate, because if he was going to do this, he was going to do it right. This fulfilled all promises that were made in the course of this movie, and it fulfilled all promises to fans who loved the original fake trailer. John Carver's legacy is only just beginning, and I personally have nothing but thanks. Kindred Spirits, Grindhouse, Cabin Fever, My Bloody Valentine. So that's it, cretins and creeps. Of course, I have to express my gratitude to all of you for giving me, somebody who's new to this, the opportunity to tell you about what I think about a bunch of movies. The chance to be heard without any foundation or real reason to be listened to has been wonderful. You all have been very kind. Some of you have suggested ideas for new videos either in the comments or via DM. I'm not stopping the channel now that this is done. Those are on the way. I look forward to talking more movies with you, so stay tuned. Do all these things. Let me know your top 13 in the comments over here. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. I got a wall full of movies, and a closet full of blazers all ready for you. And, as always, this is all just a matter of opinion. Yours counts more than mine. See them yourself. Make your own decisions. Support horror. Thank you. Good night.